about time we stop, those of us who support, as most of us do, Israel in this body, for apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent an Israel.
This was the Biden-Harris administration. These were supposedly progressive Democrats in office, yet they're still coming after students who are peacefully protesting for human rights, who are protesting against genocide. They are prioritizing capitalism, imperialism, lining their own pockets over common sense humanity. And to me, that shows that the Democrats and Republicans are on the same side of the coin when it comes to this issue. I did not feel hopeful at all that the Harris administration would truly carry out any changes for the situation in Palestine.
What else is there left to say? It's pretty clear time and time again, not just this past year, but every year for 80 years almost, the inherent complicity, the outright denial, the double standards that we apply at the governmental level and in cultural institutions and place of higher education. We've seen how the possibility of resistance against Israeli occupation, the apartheid system, outright genocide is increasingly diminished. It's not good enough to pad your critique of Israel as much as you possibly can. You're still an anti-Semite, right? That's how criticism is handled. You're not going to expect much more sympathy from me in combating these feelings that you struggle with when we're talking about real tangible consequences for an entire people that are facing systematic annihilation.
And you've known every Israeli prime minister for 50 years, from Golda Meir. So from a proud Jewish Zionist to a proud Irish-American Zionist, I want to thank you for 50 years of public service and 50 years of support for the State of Israel. And I look forward to discussing with you today and working with you in the months ahead.
The Zionists have not any right whatsoever to use the Holocaust for any purpose. They have given up everything which has to do with humanity, with empathy, for one thing, the state, the blood and soil, just like the Nazis. Judaism, as I learned it, is highly, highly ethical. And so you cannot connect Zionism with highly ethical. You can only connect the words aggressive, oppressive, stealing, robbing, with Zionism, but not highly ethical.
I'm here for the sake of history, to speak to generations not yet born, and for the chronicles of this extraordinary time, where the carpet bombing of defenseless indigenous societies is legitimized. And I also came to speak directly to Zionists here and everywhere. We let you into our homes when your own countries tried to murder you, and everyone else turned you away. We fed you and we clothed you, we gave you shelter, and we shared from the bounty of our land with you. And when the time was ripe, you kicked us out of our homes and homeland. Then you killed and robbed and burned and looted our lives. Because it is clear that you do not know how to live in the world without dominating others. You have crossed all lines and nurtured the most vile of human impulses. But the world is finally glimpsing the terror we have endured at your hands for so long, and they are seeing the reality of who you are and who you've always been. They watch in utter astonishment, the sadism, the glee, the joy, and the pleasure with which you conduct, watch, and cheer the daily details of breaking our bodies, our minds, our future, and our past.
אנחנו מטילים מצור מוחלט על העיר עזה. אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם ואנחנו נוהגים בהתאם.
What I think I found particularly disturbing was that a bomb would drop maybe on a crowded, tented area, and then the drones would come down and pick off civilians, children. And we had description after description. This is not, an occasional thing. This was day after day after day, operating on children who would say, I was lying on the ground after a bomb had dropped, and this quadcopter came down and hovered over me and shot me. And that's clearly a deliberate act, and it was a persistent act, persistent targeting of civilians day after day. We had 1 or 2 mass casualty incidents every day.
No matter what happens from here, no matter what fairy tales you tell yourselves and tell the world, you will never truly belong to that land. What your real estate agents call in their high-priced listings, quote, old Arab home charm, will always hold in their stones the stories and memories of our ancestors who built them.
So we're here in Pikesville, Maryland, at the DoubleTree Hilton, and there's basically a interest for the Zionists here. They have like a land sale on how to buy land in West Bank, and so that's what a lot of people are here today for. And so we're here to basically disrupt that. So there should be no land bought, occupied territory being bought by anybody, and unfortunately, that's happening many places. Here it's happening in New York, it's happening in LA. And so we're trying to just disrupt this. It shouldn't be allowed. I don't know why it's allowed, but it's happening, unfortunately, here. Also, there's a genocide going on, and we're arming them. I'm actually a U.S. veteran, and so I'm doing my part as a veteran because I was part of the occupation. And so we got to really stop what we're doing. We've been doing this for a long time, and we give Israel special treatment to basically do a genocide, and so we need to stop that.
You will never know the feeling of masses all over the world pouring into the streets and stadiums to chant and sing for your freedom. And it is not because you are Jewish, as you want everyone to believe, but because you are violent colonizers who think your Jewishness entitles you to the home my grandfather and his brothers built with their own hands. The fabled, tumultuous stories of the land are quite literally in our DNA. Someday, your impunity and your arrogance will end. Palestine will be free. She will be restored to her multi-religious, multi-ethnic, pluralistic glory. We will put an end to the Zionist American war machine of domination, expansion, extraction, pollution, and looting. And you will either leave or you will finally learn to live with others as equals.
احنا في فترات طويلة لجأنا إلى أساليب المقاومة الشعبية السلمية والمقاومة الشعبية، وللأسف الشديد جدا كنا نعتقد بأنه العالم والدول العالم والشعوب الحرة والمنظومات الدولية تقف إلى جانب شعبنا وتكبح الاحتلال من أن يرتكب جرائم ومجازر ضد شعبنا، لكن للأسف الشديد جدا وقف العالم متفرجا على آلة حرب جيش الاحتلال وهي تقتل أبنائنا. إسرائيل التي تمتلك ترسانة الحرب الكبرى اللي فيها أدق الأسلحة وأعتى الطائرات تقتل أطفالنا ونسائنا بعمد وتقصد وهي تريد ذلك، لا يمكن أن يقارن بمن يقاوم ويدافع عن حقه بأسلحة بسيطة. إحنا لو كان لدينا القدرة على أن نضرب صواريخ دقيقة وموجهة تصل إلى أهداف عسكرية لما ضربنا هذه الصواريخ، لكن إحنا مضطرين أن ندافع عن شعبنا بالوسائل المتاحة لدينا. هذا ما هو متاح لدينا. ماذا نستطيع أن نفعل؟ هل نرفع الراية البيضاء؟ نحن لن نرفع الراية البيضاء. هل المطلوب منا أمام العالم أن نقتل وأن نكون الضحية الطيبة حسنة الأخلاق التي تقتل دون أن يرتفع لها صوت؟ هذا غير ممكن بالمطلق. نحن قررنا أن ندافع عن شعبنا بما أوتينا من قوة.
يا ليلي طول على